Architecture school taught us how to design buildings. It didn't teach us how to build successful firms. Join Brian McCartney and me for a free live 60-minute webinar introducing EntreArchitect Academy, the business school for architects. Choose Tuesday, August 4th or Thursday, August 6th. Learn more and register today at EntreArchitect.com/academy-webinar. My name is Mark R. LePage, and you are listening to EntreArchitect Podcast, where each week I speak with inspiring, passionate people who share their knowledge and expertise, all to help you build a better business as a small firm entrepreneur architect. Today I'm joined by Gayathri Venkataraman, also known as G3, founder and CEO of GeoProspex.ai. After more than 2 decades leading AI product development at Microsoft and DocuSign, Gayathri is applying that experience to one of the earliest and most critical phases of every architectural project, finding and evaluating the right site. We'll explore how artificial intelligence is helping architects and developers answer complex feasibility questions faster, reduce risk before design begins, and create new opportunities for firms willing to embrace emerging technology. Gayathri, welcome back to EntreArchitect Podcast.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
It's great to have you back. You were on episode 615, so not too far back, but a while back ago. So I wanted to invite you back to give us an update. You and I have talked on and off between episodes, and you've been updating me on your progress. And I'm like, this is probably a good opportunity to invite G3 back to the podcast and share a little bit of updates on what you've been building. Just for some context, maybe you can talk about where we were when we last spoke, the transformation that's happened since then, and maybe just provide a little context about you and the company to get us started.
Yeah. For people that are new to the podcast, a quick introduction about myself. So as Mark said, I was a technologist. I worked at technology companies before, running search divisions. And now I am focusing on taking that technology and applying it on real estate, which was my own personal pain point. That's how I got quite interested in this domain. For repeat audience, as you all might know, our previous company's name was Dora.ai. Not previous company. The company's previous name was Dora.ai.
Right.
And now we have rebranded as GeoProspex.ai, which is more tuned to what exactly we are trying to do. We are land prospecting for land developers, site feasibility analysis for architects, the planners, and all of those people that are coming in that particular phase of the entire building life cycle. Yeah, I think we have had some good traction among various single family homes, and we have expanded into a couple of other major areas as well, which we can talk in this show. Yeah, and we also had an amazing opportunity to present at the AIA National Conference at San Diego, which was a phenomenal forum to talk to real customers that actually are in the weeds. It was great exposure and experience for me as well. So I definitely felt very privileged to be in such a large forum in this journey.
That's great. It's fun to get on stage and talk about things you're passionate about, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that too on a very large stage like that. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And I'd love to talk a little bit about that. But before we do that, I want to make sure we understand what GeoProspex does. Can you guide us through a workflow on how an architect might use the software? And that gives us some context on how we can have a conversation about it.
Absolutely. So let's say, in your typical use case or workflow, you are being asked by any of the developers, or you yourself are trying to figure out whether this is the land that you want to pursue for something. What are the possibilities, the highest and the best use scenarios and stuff like that. So what our tool offers is you provide the address or latitude, longitude, or the KMZ file, and then we will be able to give you information about the site. Things like, hey, what zone it is in, what are the dwelling unit constraints, what are the infrastructure needs for this one, who is providing power, water, and all of that, essential information, what are the transportation needs. And then for enterprise customers, we offer like more interesting signals around like, environmental conditions, brownfield sites, superfund sites, all of that stuff. And we also provide this community sentiment score. Like if you are working on a large data center type projects, that is like a very important score that people are thinking about. What is the community feeling about this site? Can I actually build what I want? So we are actually created a proprietary signal for that one. And that's something that we have been offering some of our data center customers. And also, like, the bring your own power concepts are also a very popular thing. Like, I don't want to take the power from the grid. What are my options? That's one aspect. In the multifamily case, like, you might be thinking about, like, okay, what is the financial feasibility? How many units can I put in? Like, those are the typically, questions that are running in developers' mind. And architects often play a very critical role in understanding what is possible in this site, and they provide their insights into those things. And that's where we come in. What would typically take you about like 120 hours or so, we can actually do that thing in matter of minutes. And this product actually works across United States. That's one major thing. And we have been asked about like international and stuff like that. Right now we are still focusing only on United States.
Right. Make sure that it works, to the best it can, and then expand.
Yes.
I love what you had mentioned, and I want to make sure I got this clear, that for data centers, you have an application that provides community sentiment, sort of how the community feels about data centers in that area. How is that data collected? Is that news sources or?
Yeah, this is a custom created score. Like we have our own model that predicts that kind of, scoring based on, sentiments that we have seen from other communities and other growing communities within the area. So we look for historical signals in that site, signals across the country on that particular topic. And then we come up with our own scoring mechanism, whether this is a high risk area, medium risk, low risk, and provide that insights. And what it allows the developers is, they can take those kind of signals and work with their county officials if they have to like work with. Like, sometimes, everything might just match up really well. And this is the only thing that is actually pulling them back or holding them back. In those cases, it just opens up for better negotiations with the county that could be beneficial for the public and vice versa.
Yeah, it definitely would also help developers choose, right? That if they're looking at multiple sites and one site is very compatible and the other site has vicious, opponents to data centers, and they're pretty much the same, right? You go with the one that's a little bit more friendly towards the work that you're trying to do.
Exactly. In fact, like you are, talking about the feature that is currently in progress in our team. This is all about comparisons and stuff like that. So we are actively working on how do you compare and what is the kind of scoring you want to provide and things like that. So we are, focusing on that kind of aspect for the customer profiles that we are working with.
This is exactly the type of process that AI is really good at, right? But the thing that many of us are discovering as we dive into AI and start using it for our own purposes is that sometimes, the big, large language models are wrong, right? Or inaccurate. And so if you do a study like what you're talking about using Claude or OpenAI ChatGPT, it might be accurate. It might not be accurate, and you don't really know. And it presents it with full confidence as if it is accurate. So how does a product like GeoProspex ensure that what you are providing is accurate?
Great question, Mark. I mean, like this is a very important thing that the entire audience have to understand. You said it so well. The LLMs are good. They are getting better and better.
Yeah.
And they talk with full confidence that you just, believe in all the things that the models are actually giving. But the reality is, the models are not tuned for a domain specific, data. So what we do is we have our own model that we have built on top of the large models. And that is tuned for accuracy of the data. And most importantly, consistency of the data.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is like if you issue one query to Claude and if you reissue the query, you won't get the same results.
Right.
Whereas in our case, we maintain that consistency. You are asked the question 2 times, we will give you the same data because that's what we have actually aggregated and consolidated as an accurate information. And we will tell the information as it is. And if we don't know what it is, we will just simply say we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That way, we are not sending you in the wrong direction. You can go follow the old process by which you did the task, and then you can give us feedback, and we will actually fine tune our models to, help you be more confident about the results.
Yeah, that's very interesting that your model will come back. If it doesn't have the information, it'll say, I don't know. Right? You're not going to get that from ChatGPT. ChatGPT never says, I don't know.
Yes. It will come up with something and then it will ask you very relevant questions for you to keep using the product again and again and again. That's what their model is. And that's how they are bringing that repeat usage and other things into the model. In our case, the format is very fixed, which is in some sense determined by you because we have customization of what kind of topics you are interested in. You can create your own custom sections and subsections. And then you can, generate the results for the same kind of topic. And then you can export it as a document or PDF and you can edit it and share it with your team members and stuff like that. We also have an opportunity to upload any relevant document you might have that is pertinent to this particular site. And we will actually consolidate all of those things in that context. And I wanted to definitely mention about security and privacy. We don't share your data with any other customer. So if you are an enterprise customer or if you are a small business working for an enterprise firm, either doing a consultancy gig or as a direct subcontracting, you can be trusted that your data is not going to be shared with anybody else.
That's super important because that's a big fear that a lot of people have, especially architects, the work that we've done and the creative information that we've put out there into the world.
Yes.
Large language models, if it's out on your internet, they're using it.
Yes.
And so your site's not using it. Also, large language models, it's trained on everything in the world, right? Whether it's good and accurate or whether it's completely false and bad, it's all being trained on all of it. And then it's giving you the best result it can give you, but it's based all on a lot of inaccurate information.
Correct. In our case, we go after authoritative data sources. That's another differentiator that we have. We don't look for the entire internet. Which is why, if the authoritative data sources do not have what you're looking for, we will just say, no, we don't have it.
Yeah.
We won't go to the internet to get you some information, some random information.
Can you share a case study, a story about a client that has used the software and how it's helped them?
Yeah, I think, one of the architect firms that saw your podcast, the first one actually reached out to us, and that firm is actually a customer of ours. And she has actually seen, good productivity increase. And in fact, I have published a case study in our website also. People can go take a look at it. And then there are 2 more case studies that are in the works, which is ready to be published. I have one of them ready. You can see the kind of number of hours savings that it actually gives these people. So I think the price point is also pretty interesting for them that they can potentially afford to, offer some of the early findings as a freebie for their customer and locking them in for, a larger design contract and other things with those firms that they are actually working with.
You had mentioned earlier that you were in San Diego at the AIA conference. Mm-hmm. What was your talk about?
It was about GeoProspex. In fact, it was with a few other startups that are all, innovating in the design and build environment. And, I was just talking about GeoProspex. That's what it is. So
a panel discussion?
No, it was a presentation. It was a presentation about what is the problem we are solving, a quick demo of what we are trying to do. And then definitely people are excited. Several folks are all trying to figure out how to use AI in the big transformation that is going on everywhere. people are trying to figure out what is the right AI solution to use.
Yeah.
Some of them have also started like vibe coding and things like that. That was very interesting to see architects trying to do vibe coding and stuff like that as well. Yeah, it was a great presentation. There were some good learnings as well from that one, from the AI thing particularly. There is definitely humans that are needed in the loop for validation, which we all know. But the most important thing about is humans in the loop is not for validation, but more for empathy.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that was the key takeaway that I had. And, I even wrote a LinkedIn post about that one. In the thing is, like, we all are using AI, but it is also very easy for us to find out what is AI generated content, what is AI, not AI generated content. Like
Right.
a bunch of the LinkedIn posts these days are like, just generated by AI. And you can immediately see after you read 2 or 3 sentences, you can get a feel for it. But genuine information sharing that should happen in LinkedIn is not happening as it should be. And that was also another big topic that actually came up. Like, so at the end of it, empathy is very important. Let's just not generate content for the sake of generating and creating some buzz, but that human connection and understanding the human needs, being creative in that thing is all that matters in this big industry transformation that's going on.
Yeah. I think we are all getting very tuned in to what we think is AI and what we think is human.
Yeah.
And, much of the AI content isn't bad. It's just not human.
Yeah.
And some of it is terrible. Some of it's slop, as they call it.
Yeah.
But some of it's not, right? Some of it is well researched and well written.
Right.
But I think that as AI progresses, that authenticity and that human connection is going to become more valuable.
Yes.
Because the AI content will become more valuable too, right? It'll get better, it'll get more accurate, so people will start to trust it because it'll become more accurate and become useful and valuable.
Yeah.
But when something is researched and written and has the empathy and personal input from a human, I think it's going to add additional value to that content and to the products and the things that we do.
Right.
Over time, I think it'll be the human.
I think you said it right. The authenticity is very important. Like, you can get help from AI to write your content. But what is it that you are actually trying to share with the audience is very important. There has to be at least 2 or 3 nuggets that you are trying to tell the audience. And if you tell AI to generate something, it's going to generate 250, 300 words, some random crap.
Yeah.
Which it thinks is the right thing, but that may not reflect who you are and what you want to convey to the audience, right?
Right.
I think that's where the human empathy is very important. Don't waste other people's time is a very important thing that I look at. I have something valuable to share with you. I will share with you in my most authentic way. And that can be very crisp and concise as well. It doesn't need to be like, 300 or 500 words long to convey a simple topic.
Yeah. I think the authenticity is going to be a very important piece. Let's take a quick break to say thank you to our sponsors for their support of this episode. This episode of EntreArchitect Podcast is sponsored by ARCAT. If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you've heard me talk about the importance of building systems that save time and reduce friction in your practice. That's exactly why I recommend ARCAT. When I need product information or specifications, CAD details, BIM objects, or sustainability documentation, I don't want to hunt through dozens of manufacturer websites or fill out forms just to download a file. With ARCAT, I can find what I need fast, and everything is free to access. No subscription, no paywall. In fact, you don't even need to register with your email address. Just go to arcat.com, search for the product information you need, and get back to serving your clients. Thousands of architects use ARCAT every day because it simply makes work easier. Visit arcat.com and see why. That's ARCAT, ARCAT.com. What were some of the challenges that you faced as you continue to develop the software and the platform, and whether it's a challenge in developing the AI or even the challenge of having customers use it in the proper way? What are some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Mark. Last 6 to 9 months had been like amazing learning for us as well. I think what I felt overall, the positive thing is there is a gap in the problem that we are trying to solve. There is a real need. There is a real need for a product like this. However, there is a big transformation that is going on. As I mentioned, it's a big journey. There is a lot of AI fear.
Yeah.
People are worried, hey, am I giving too much information to the company or the product? Can I get better value from Claude or OpenAI? Why should I actually pay a tool like this? There is that AI fear in some sense, which is holding them back. All of those things takes time. Added to that one, real estate and construction industry is slow to, changes. That's another big thing that I've actually observed. It does take time for people to believe that, hey, the startup is actually in business. They are going to be in business. They are not going anywhere. So I will give them some time and then I will see whether they are, in business for some more time, and then I'll continue to engage, right? So that customer acquisition path is little slow, though people are genuinely trying to engage and want to use the product. We have a lot of people on trial. We have a lot of people who are convinced that they want to use the product and stuff like that. So the momentum is picking up, definitely. But that journey takes some time, right? They have to, first of all, know the people. That's the most important thing. They have to build that credibility with the people more than what I'm actually building.
Yeah.
That's what I have actually felt as one of the biggest thing.
Have you seen the evolution? When AI first started, everybody was excited about it. And they're like, oh, this amazing tool that does this amazing thing. And then the fear set in. It's like, oh my goodness, this amazing tool that can do all these things. And then people start to gradually use it and understand it. And it becomes more and more part of their regular workday. They start to trust it a little bit more. They start to understand it. The fear starts to wane a little bit. You're so focused on AI and the topic. Have you seen that evolution in your customer base specifically?
Definitely. People are once they start using it, once they work with me 2-3 times in a meeting and stuff like that, they're feeling more comfortable about it. I can definitely say that is the case. And, you can also see the same thing in our own usage of AI as well. As much as we are actually trying to talk about authenticity, I don't mind getting help from AI for certain tasks.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So it is gradually increasing as well. AI is in some sense intertwined with our day-to-day activities in multiple ways, both personal and professional. But at the same time, we are all trying to maintain that empathy and, the authenticity that we wanted to maintain.
Right. And we don't want to lose our humanity, right? Because that could happen too, that you become so reliant on the technology that everything you do, you go to the AI and say, how should I do this? How should I react to this? How should I write this?
Correct.
It's so easy to do. And then you lose who you are and what you have been as a human.
I think that's where context, creativity, our empathy, all of those things actually plays a key role. It cannot replace a human conversation. Like me talking with my customer matters because I have some context on what really matters to them. Even if there is meeting notes, what is it that it can actually do? Like it is not going to think, okay, this person, I understand them deeply, not just on a professional basis, little bit about them about on the personal side as well. I have a little bit of context. I know what they are going after. Can I be creative here? Can I adjust certain parts of my product or can I build something that meets their needs? And having that kind of deeper conversation is not replaceable at all, in my opinion. I mean, at the end of it, we are the creators of everything and,
Yeah.
Right?
I think we will all evolve to find the balance, right? I recently received an email from a very long time member of our community with his concern that, maybe we were using AI too much, that he started picking up little signs and cues of things that we've done and we've used AI to help us develop. And I appreciate that feedback, right? Because I don't want to lose the humanity.
Yeah.
EntreArchitect and the value of who we are as a community is about people, right? It's about people helping people.
Yes.
And so that was a good reminder to be careful and to make sure that you're using the tool responsibly and with the balance, right? That you don't become so reliant on it that you lose what was special in the first place about the thing that you've built without the AI,
right?
That it doesn't change it in a negative way. It could very much help it and improve it in a positive way, but you have to learn how to do that.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And like understanding users' workflow is also a very important aspect as part of that context that we are talking about. So we are talking about the human context. We are talking about the professional context where they are applying. And I have actually realized there are a lot more mom and pop shops that have actually come in the last 1.5, 2 years in this particular area of pre-development that I'm talking with more and more people. Okay. So all of these people are like looking for help, but at the same time, they are afraid of using AI. And at the same time, they don't have the money to go hire somebody to do the job and stuff like that. So they are that ideal small businesses that are trying to grow.
Yeah.
And, that understanding that context of where they came from, why did they start this company? And what is that they are looking for? What is the impact they are trying to create? It could be financial. It could be something else. Tailoring all of those things through our creative thinking on a solution is the most important part. Like it could be, whatever we are talking right now, Mark, could be very abstract, but people that are in that spot will understand what, we are talking about.
Yeah.
I personally think small businesses are very ideal to understand this thing because everyone is coming from different directions.
I agree.
But I see a slew of mom and pop shops that have actually come up in the real estate, land development, and all of that stuff right now.
Yeah, small firms have the greatest opportunity because, first of all, we can make decisions very quickly, right? We can adopt the tools very quickly and use them and learn about them very quickly. We don't need a committee of approvals in order to go out and try a new product. And it ultimately will help us grow, right? It'll help us do things that we could not have done before with the team that we have, right? Whether you're a sole practitioner or a very small team, you'll be able to compete with larger firms because of the tools that we are being introduced to.
That's right.
And so we have such an opportunity as small firms if we can find the balance and, overcome the fear and to learn the technology and embrace it.
Yes.
And make it part of what we do. It's a very interesting future we have as small firms.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of future, what does GeoProspex look like in the next few years? What are you working on that you want to develop?
So years is a very long time. I'm just looking at months right now.
Yeah, of course. Yes. I have to be careful when I ask that question. I used to say 10 years, then I said 5 years, then I said 3 years. Now I have to say, what does it look like, in 6 months?
Yeah, in 6 months. Yeah. So we are definitely looking at, the fine-tuning our bulk processing models. Like this is all comparing of sites and stuff like that. So we are actually definitely focusing on that. And we have also started the Forma integration, Autodesk Forma integration. So we are trying to take all the data and provide an out-of-the-box 3D design through the Autodesk integration partnership that we have, so that like customers of Autodesk can get started with that. Right. I think this will be a very important aspect for people that are already in Autodesk, especially for customers that want to provide some, high-level concepts and stuff like that to their clients. It will just, add speed to their overall workflow. And definitely with respect to the comparison of sites and other things, it's another big aspect. Like, how do you think about like, one versus other? Like which parameter is more important? Is availability of water more important? Land value more important? ROI on like, the rental value more important? Of course, many of them all feed into the thing, right? So those are all the kind of, analysis we wanted to make it very simple for our developer community. And of course, some of these things will be very useful for the architects also, because if they are looking at like, let's say 10 to 20 different sites for different customers, they will have a good idea of like, how to synthesize all that complex information in a more methodical and structured way.
Yeah.
Right now, everything is like, with the Excel sheet or Google sheet, however they manage, or it might all be in their head when they are, working on site in a very disconnected way.
You had mentioned earlier that the last time you were on the show that some architects reach out to you. One of them has become a client. What's the best way that a listener could reach out to you? Should they just go to the website and learn about it, or is there a way to contact you?
Yeah, people can reach out to me at contact@GeoProspex.ai or G and number 3. That's my nickname, G3 at GeoProspex.ai. Reach out to me and I will chat with you about what your needs are and then have you try out, the product, and then we can go from there.
All right. That sounds great.
Yeah.
This is a business show mostly, right? And lots of small firm architects. So I always love to ask the question, what's one thing that a small firm architect can do today to build a better business for tomorrow?
That particular answer, Mark, it has not changed for me. I think embrace AI. I think number one, like if we know what we are looking for and how to disrupt ourselves first, nobody is going to shake us. If we stay put where we are, then it's going to be very hard when the change comes like a cyclone hitting at us. So go after the change that you're seeing proactively. Try out new products. I'm not saying just GeoProspex. Try out any new products that you feel you want to work with, and we would be happy to be one of them as well. And take charge of like how you want to craft your future. I think that's the most important thing for any professional at this time. You take control over how you want to define your future. And that's where like 3 to 5 year horizon comes in.
Yes, exactly. Gayathri Venkataraman is her name, also known as G3. GeoProspex with an X. GeoProspex is the firm. GeoProspex.ai is where you can learn more and connect with G3. G3, thank you very much for doing the work that you're doing, helping us do the work that we do better, faster, more accurately. I appreciate that. And thanks for coming by and giving us an update here at EntreArchitect Podcast.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's always a pleasure to be in your show.
If you enjoyed this episode of EntreArchitect Podcast, please share a link with a friend, because that's how we've continued to grow and serve thousands more small firm architects just like you. Thank you to our sponsors for this episode. Links to the sponsors and all the resources we discussed today, they are all available in the show notes for this episode at entrearchitect.com/podcast. EntreArchitect is a proud member of the Gable Media Network. It's the multimedia network moving the architecture, engineering, and construction industries forward through the power of storytelling. You can earn AIA continuing education credits by listening to select episodes of this podcast and many others at gablemedia.com/members. And if you are a small firm architect, listen up. Join us today at EntreArchitect Network. It's the worldwide community for entrepreneur architects. We've been around since 2012, and our basic level is now free to join. Yes, you can join EntreArchitect Network for free. And that gives you access to valuable business resources and our global community of architects. And you can upgrade anytime for live coaching, AIA-approved training, and mastermind support. So visit EntreArchitect.com to learn more and to get started. My name is Mark R. LePage. Thank you for listening to the EntreArchitect Podcast. Love, learn, share.